What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of our Gris playthrough. This has been an incredible experience. I have enjoyed pretty much every moment of this playthrough. It has truly been sensational and has, in many ways, reinvigorated my love for indie games and incredible stories and games that just feel authentically, genuinely new and interesting. You know, in the world of battle passes and, microtransactions, it's nice to play a game that you feel like was made with heart, was made with the idea of being a complete product, and was made with the players in mind. And I think that's something that I kind of miss seeing a little bit more of. It's what I love it's why I love about indie games, why I love indie games. And I love the stories that they tell and how they can kind of reach you in a way that so many of the other big titles just can't anymore. It's a weird thing. But I'm not going to get into all that too much in this episode. What I want to get into is this story. I want to continue on with this playthrough, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this episode. So if you guys do enjoy the content, you want to see more videos just like this, you already know what to do. Consider dropping a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to become a part of our cozy community. And thank you so much for being a part and being here. Without further ado, guys, go ahead and sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and let's do this. All right, guys, last time we left off, the stars had aligned for us. Quite literally, the stars had aligned for us. And now we are heading to the moon. I don't know. At least that's what it feels like. I have no idea where this path is going to lead us or what exactly we're going to find when we get there, but part of what's beautiful about this game and part of what I love about it so much is that it truly feels like, as cliche as it may sound, the journey is the best part, you know? And so I'm excited to see what kind of lies ahead for us. Let's see. Well, while we're heading up to the moon, I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. It means the world to be able to share in these experiences and share these stories with others. Not the darkness again. Who is this? What is this? Well, that's no good. I'm going to assume that was all a part of the plan, or at least part of the story. Oh, we're swimming again. Holy moly, guys. Swimming in the wreckage of, I don't even know, all that came before or something. We're swimming in some kind of wreckage. Is it getting darker to anyone else? I feel like it's becoming harder to see. And part of me is wondering if that is some sort of motto of this game. You know? Wow. Holy moly, guys. Look at all this. A sea of darkness. And it feels like we've almost gone backwards, you know? We were unlocking all this color, bringing life back to this world, and now we find ourselves kind of back at square one. I'm telling you guys, I feel like this game has so many underlying real-life mottos or themes that I think really play on, like, the challenges of life and kind of our never-ending journey to find ourselves and bring color into our world. I don't know. I'm going to do we may do a full review at the end of this playthrough talking about just so many of the themes that I think exist within this game. There we go. Guys, this looks incredible. Oh. Is that us? Oh my gosh, guys. Wow. I'm like speechless. All the color that we were bringing back, all in one beautiful watercolor painting. Holy moly, guys. I don't know what we just witnessed, but that was absolutely incredible. Man, what an emotional moment in this story. For a game that seemingly has zero dialogue. It genuinely is incredible how much this game gets you to feel, you know? I think that's what I love about it so much, is it just feels like a game that is just riddled with heart and depth in both the simplest and most complex form. It's something special, and I to this day I can't believe it's taken me so long to even try this game out. And to the stars we go. Holy moly, guys. That was it. We did it. Now, when I started this episode, I never expected that this would be the finale. This would be the end. Honestly, in many ways, I had no idea how long this game was going to be, but I had a feeling that there was a lot more for us to explore and for us to do. Wow, guys, I'm like kind of emotional right now. Like it's a bittersweet feeling. It really is. I feel accomplished, you know. I feel happy that we finished this experience together, and it's one that took so long for me to even start. And to finally reach the end of that there's always a little bit of a bittersweetness to it, you know? Now we find ourselves at the end of this journey together, and I don't know, once you reach the end, you almost wish that it could have been a little longer and you could have experienced it just a little bit more. And I think that's not only the beautiful thing about this game, but I think it's a beautiful thing about life is there's always these moments that you wish you had just a little bit more time with, moments that you really just want to savor just a little bit longer. And I think when it comes to my library of games and experiences that I've had through gaming, this is definitely going to be one that reigns at one of the top spots of memorable experiences, you know. And I think I've played a lot of games in my time, and a very select few of them have made their way to the Mount Rushmore of games that truly left me feeling like I did more than just play a game. You know, I left with an experience, or I left with a lesson. And for a game that has no dialogue to be full of beautiful lessons of life, love, determination, you know, pursuit of self-discovery, right? The idea of falling down and getting back up. I mean, those are just a few of the lessons that I have gleaned from this experience. Wow. I mean, I don't know. We could talk about the gameplay, which was simple yet defined. Like, it didn't, you know, this game didn't need a bunch of fight scenes. It didn't need overly complex puzzles. It just, what it had, it did. And it did well. And I think that's all you can ever ask for from any game. Like, if you're going to have a mechanic, whether that just be adventuring through the world or solving puzzles or what have you, then do that very well, you know? And I think that this game does that. And in many ways, it exceeded so many of my expectations, you know? The soundtrack was phenomenal through every step of the way. The soundtrack was so good, I literally had to go out and buy the vinyl version of this soundtrack. And I don't think I've ever bought a vinyl for any game, ever. But I got it for this one. And that, to me, is saying something to the quality of the experience, you know? What I will say about this game, though, is that it reaffirmed my love for indies. It reaffirmed my love for the indie experience, and how so many of these games, so many indie games truly just feel like labors of love, and they don't get nearly as much time, appreciation, acknowledgement, coverage as they should. You know, they really don't. And that's why I started Once Upon a Playthrough. That's why I started this channel. I love playthroughs. I believe in playthroughs. I love providing substantial commentary to gaming experiences. I think that it presents a level of connection and community. You know, some of my favorite creators of all time, like creators I've followed for years, who inspired me to even get into this, were ones that I felt that with, that sense of community and connection, as though I was playing that game and having that experience with them. And if I'm able to do that even for one person who finds this channel and feels that they went on a journey with me, that they were riding shotgun through this experience, down this highway of memories and experiences, then, I mean, honestly, what else could you ask for, right? What else could you ask for? Wow. We talked about the gameplay. We talked about the music. I think this will. I feel like 100% this will go down in history as one of the best gaming soundtracks for me personally. I mean, it was emotionally evocative. It was thrilling. It was suspenseful. It would go from suspenseful to then to peaceful and nostalgic. There were levels to the soundtrack. There were levels to the music, levels to even just the little nuanced things that you would do, like walking across those little star bridges or whatever you call them. Yeah, I'm a big audio junkie. I love audio in games. I love the sound of rain on the ground, the sound of your footsteps on a puddle, the sound of snow falling on a tree. Like those little things, I think are often things that go unnoticed. And, through pretty much any playthrough that I do, whether it be now or in the future, I want to try to pay attention to those subtle nuances because there was someone who was behind that. Someone who created that experience. Someone who put the time into to add that component that would become vital to a scene or to an experience in the game. I think that's what's so cool about it. And those are things that I hope to highlight, Yeah, guys, I don't know what else to say about this game that hasn't already been said through the couple episodes that we did for this playthrough. But yeah, I will say that this was an incredibly memorable experience and one that I think I'll take with me for a long time, and I think it's going to be one of those games that leaves you with kind of a void for a while. And, naturally we'll move on to, other indie games and we'll move on to the next story, the next experience, and that will be different, undeniably different from this one. But yeah, I think I'll still find myself thinking about this one. I think I'll still find myself reminiscing on this experience. This one will be special. So yeah. Now, once you beat the game, it looks like you get extras, and it did mention that you have chapters. So here's all the chapters that we got to do. So I guess there's I don't know. I guess there's 6 levels, and what's cool too is these are all the icons that we were seeing previously. And I don't know if those icons were connected to levels. So I guess this was red, right? This was green, blue, and then yellow. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess yellow, and then the final stage. Kind of the start to the end. Wow, this was cool. This was cool. I also loved the level layout, guys. I really did. I loved the level layout. I loved how each level, I didn't even realize they were levels. I thought it was just one seamless experience. And as you were continuing through that experience, you were unlocking different elements to the world. I felt like it was one cohesive world. It never felt like I was going to a new level. I was unlocking new things and, the occasional new ability or new piece to the story, but it never felt like I was just jumping from level to level. And I say that as kind of a compliment to the cohesion of the story. It felt really seamless. And I love that. I would say of all these areas though, I was surprised by blue. I really was. I think blue really surprised me. Green, I think, would potentially have been my favorite. I love this part where you're walking through the woods and you're kind of experiencing there's all these little creatures, there's these falling leaves. It to me, and it had elements of red too in there as well. But yeah, this part in green really just pulled me in. It pulled me in the best possible way and had me fully enveloped in the experience. And it's not to say that these other ones didn't, but there was something about green that I genuinely fell in love with in this experience. So, and then I think a close second might have been yellow. Yellow was pretty cool, I will say. I think yellow might have been the most visually stunning. Green was definitely the most memorable for me. But I loved them all, honestly. I loved them all. Now, one thing that I did hear is that this game, I guess one of the deep undertones of it is that it is kind of highlighting the different stages of grief. And I don't know how accurate that is. But if it is, I mean, I could definitely see that being something that the game was doing as well, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It felt like every level was a different emotion, right? Like you go to blue and you imagine sadness, and in green maybe highlighting, you know, rebirth or growth, right? Red obviously being kind of love, passion, or danger, or, you know, sometimes a combination of all three. You know, could also be rage as well, you know, and then yellow. I don't really know what yellow would highlight, but yeah, I'm not really sure what yellow would highlight, but yeah, you know, something like that. Yeah, I would say that if that is true, then that was a really good addition. You know, I'm definitely going to look up what the overall themes are of this game after I kind of create my own, you know, interpretations of the experience. But I would love to know what the developers were really getting at when they created this game. Like, what, you know, for a game that has no dialogue, what I love about it is that it leads to a lot of open interpretation. You know, you inputting your own personal experiences, your own emotions, your own thoughts, feelings, you know, your own traumas into the experience, and having those feelings kind of guide you to your own conclusions about your own life. And that's what I love about it. You know, it doesn't give you dialogue that guides your thoughts, right? Your thoughts kind of guide the experience, and it leads to great, what I would consider to be really thoughtful conversation about the experiences you all kind of have, you know, or whoever you speak to about it will have a different interpretation of that experience based on their own experiences. And I think that's pretty cool. Now we also get the gallery, which I'm curious if those little circles that we were finding throughout the game, I'm curious if those were like images that we could get, which I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, because we didn't find that. I mean, we found a couple. We didn't find that many, and maybe, you know, maybe there weren't that many, but yeah, I kind of feel like that's what we were finding. We were they were like collectibles for the gallery, which would be pretty cool. I would love to know how many. I would love it if the game told you how many were in each level, but that way you could potentially go back and acquire them if you wanted to. But what I think is so cool about them is, yeah, they're all they all look like hand-drawn pictures, almost like, you know, if you had a younger sibling, or you know, a child or something that they might draw for you. But one that you look at and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, that's pretty cool. And some of the images, even if they feel like they're directly pulled from the game, they still have this unique hand-drawn aesthetic to them that I think provides a bit of genuineness to them, which I like. And all combining with the elements and the colors that we were exploring throughout our experience. You've got the reds, right? You've got a little bit of green in there. Yeah, and the more that I look at these images, the more I feel like there really were deep underlying tones of grief in this game. And it's almost about the different stages of overcoming that grief in order to pick up the broken pieces of oneself to then move forward and move ahead. And honestly, as I say that out loud, it does kind of feel like that potentially was the general theme of this game. Like, this one's really nice. Like the red hands wrapped in thorns. Almost like, you know, I don't know. I think you could create your own interpretations based on some of these. But I mean, I could literally sit here all day and talk about the aesthetic and the art style of this experience, and how beautiful some of these things were. Maybe potential art styles for what Gris was going to look like. Or at least that's the idea that Hey, I don't know. That's the idea that comes to my mind. Wow. I love it, though. All right, guys. This was an incredible experience, one that I'm so glad that we got to share together. I loved this game. It was so fun and so memorable. I feel like, I don't know. I would give it a 10 out of 10, honestly. Like, from the music to the simplicity in the experience, but the depth of that experience, I think, is something that very few games are able to do. I feel like a lot of games will throw a lot of fluff in and a lot of filler to make the game seem substantial and feel substantial. But once you look past those layers and all, you look beyond the rose-colored glasses, you feel like you sometimes feel a lack of depth in those experiences versus something like this that didn't have a lot of mechanics. It wasn't very mechanic heavy. It wasn't very complex in the experience, but the experience had significant depth through its music and its lack of dialogue, and you were able to fill in your own interpretations and your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions into that experience. So through that, you're dealt an experience that feels even more personal than something with all of the extra stuff. And that's what I think is so great about this game is it really allows you to take in the driver's seat, and it asks you the question from the very beginning: what do you want this experience to be? And how do you feel? And how do you want to feel by the end of it? It really places control in your hands in that sense. And it's the most thought-provoking, evocative gaming experience that I think I've ever had. I don't know. I can't wait to play the next game. If there's a game that you would like to see, an indie game that gave you this similar experience that Gris gave me, please let me know in the comment section, because I would love to continue to experience incredible indie games and games that left you with the feeling of speechlessness, similar to what I feel today. I definitely don't want to miss out on those experiences. There's so many incredible games out there, so many great experiences. And yeah, I just want to experience as many of them as I can. And I think indie games are so special, and they offer so many varied opportunities to have those experiences. So I'm looking forward to seeing what journey we go on next. But I want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this experience, you enjoyed this playthrough, please consider dropping a like on this video, as it greatly helps out the channel. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what experience or what moment in this experience that we went on together really stood out to you. Or if there was a particular color that you really enjoyed. Let me know in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with you about this game. And subscribe if you're new here for more indie experiences and, yeah, all that good stuff in between. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go think about this experience and try to process these emotions. But I want to say thanks so much for being here. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next playthrough. Bye, everyone.